This is my nightmare scenario. It just keeps recurring and recurring and recurring. What it's about to happen, ladies and gentlemen, is Dan Lanning, the Oregon football coach, man of the world, kid from suburban Kansas City, is going to come on the show, and he's gonna make fun of me for the hair restoration commercial that played during the commercial break. So let's let him get it all out. Get it all out. Go ahead.
I just promised your producer I wouldn't say anything. I've not got nothing to say. Got nothing to say, man.
You know what I need to do? Next time you're coming on, I'm going to do a fake commercial during the commercial. See how you react to it. See how you react to it.
I love it. I just realized, hey, I don't want to, affect, people bought their sponsorships. I don't want to mess that up for you, But I just wish you would tap into the resources that you guys are advertising.
I don't. I have a beautiful bald head.
Can you imagine you with a mullet? How awesome that would be.
Maybe I should do that for charity. I'll grow it out. We'll see what happens.
I'm telling you.
Yeah. I have a beautiful bald head, though. I feel like, I feel like I'm leaning into it. The
truth wouldn't be quite the same if you weren't bald,
Amen.
It wouldn't be.
Amen to
the
that.
mullet face truth, it just wouldn't be the same.
Doesn't work.
No.
Hey, where are you right now? Set the scene. Where are you sitting? Where are your feet right now?
I literally just walked into the house. So Thursday's the day we wrap up a little bit early. Had a couple earlier meetings today. We start pretty early on Thursday, but Titans got football practice here in a second. I'm hoping to catch a little bit of that action. Got a couple Zoom calls later on tonight, and get to see the family a little bit. This is the one day a week you get to see the fam.
I like that. I'm sorry that I'm intruding on it with this interview, but I like that you're going to get to go to practice. Does that feel good to you to be not in charge at a practice?
It's fun, man. It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Titan's kind of I see him as a strong safety, kind of like he's going to be a big hitter, active.
We're working on the hitting part. He's a jack of all trades. He plays a little running back, a little wide out, a little DB, little safety. He's kind of all over the place. But what I'm excited about is he loves football, which is pretty cool. The other day he came in to hang out with me, and he stayed up late until I got home, and he climbed in the bed, and he's like, "Hey, Dad, want to hang out?" And he's like, "Oh my gosh, Dad, you stink. You smell horrible." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" And he reaches "You smell." I'm like, and then he smells his own hands, and he realizes he's been wearing these football gloves, and it's himself. I was like, "Man, you're trashing me, and it's you that stinks. It's your hands." But it's kind of a cool feeling for your 12-year-old to have stinky hands because he's wearing football gloves, and they, it's, I don't know, it's kind of fired me up, So now he's asking, all right, are you allowed to wash football gloves? Do they lose their sticky? So
I love it.
I don't know.
I love it.
I kind of went off on a tangent there, but cool moments.
I seem to remember in a conversation the very first conversation I had with your parents, they said you had your high school football pants. You never washed them after your last game. Is that true?
Yeah. We lost to Harrisonville, and on the grass they had painted Harrisonville's blue and Richmond's red and white, and there's blue stains on my pants, and we never washed them. Just kind of wanted to remember that loss in the semifinals.
You got the refrain. You got it. I guess the losses always stay with you, maybe in a way that the wins don't, right? Still to this day. Why is that?
Oh yeah, because it matters. Because it matters. When it matters to you, man, that's what you remember those.
Is it that we expect to win, though, and that's part of it? So when we win, that's of course we did. We put in the work. We had a plan, and then when we don't win, we go, okay, what did I do wrong? And you sort of pour through the wreckage, looking for how do I get better? How do I improve from this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's part of it. But I think when you really mature in life, you start to realize you can win a lot. I mean, you can learn a lot from a win, but you can learn a lot from a loss, and you can be motivated, man. If you're intrinsically motivated and you hate that feeling, that can be an unbelievable motivator.
You've been using that intrinsic, extrinsic thing. Is that something that you've been reading about, or somebody's been taught? You've been thinking about it, haven't you?
No, I guess I've gotten the question. I've kind of always had that same thought process, but I guess maybe I've gotten a question that's brought it up twice this week. Where else did I use it?
It came up in a.
Oh, Jim Rome. Yeah, I think I said with Jim
that's
Rome
what it was.
the other day.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, you want to be intrinsically motivated, man. That's important, right? Are you intrinsically motivated, John?
Yeah, you have to be, because if it's the extrinsic stuff, that's not lasting. That doesn't stay with you. That doesn't, that's transactional. That's not, I think
it's
you
be a
get
letdown at some point, right?
Yeah,
when you realize it's not fulfilling.
Yeah, it doesn't do it. And then I think it's a hard thing to teach people, though, because so much of like our culture becomes about achieving and getting the trophy or the award or the job, or that's what the money's for. Don Draper and Mad Men, that's what the money's for. It's for it. So it becomes, but having it be part of your nature, having it be internal, it's gotta come from within. It's almost religious, isn't it? Like, you grew up in a household that you have belief. It's got to come from within you, right?
For sure. Like, it's just this this mindset that you can affect change and you can create, a little bit for yourself, I think, is part of it for me.
I don't want to dive too deep into it, but I liked what you said about Charlie Kirk and just kind of the idea of a locker room having people from all walks of life, and like, can't we all learn from a football locker room where you've got people from different socioeconomic backgrounds, different religions, different races, and you guys come together on a game, and it's like, this is a machine that is all pointed in the same direction. Like, I think I'll even go back to your kid playing sports. I just think it starts really young, where you learn to be part of something bigger than yourself and work with other people.
Yeah.
And be tolerant. But I love that you said that. Why was that important to you?
I've always felt like, when you have when you have an opportunity to speak your mind, like, shame on you if you don't. And, I felt like that there's been a couple times, in life for me where I've had an opportunity to say something that mattered, and you get asked the right question, you get an opportunity to say it, you should answer it how you feel. And, that was one of those moments, that, like, people are cool. Sometimes we lose sight of that like, how unbelievably impressive is human life. And there's a lot of differences, and there's a lot of people that are different. But when you recognize like how special human life is, when you have a kid for yourself, when you have great parents, and you get to experience a cool relationship at work that you're like, man, when I'm around this person, it makes me feel a certain way. And recognize that those people probably do the same thing for other people. Like, that's something we should really value. And I just, at times I think we lose a lot of sight of that. So, hope in this world, man, I'm a glass half full guy. I'm hopeful this world can recognize like how cool this place is, and how awesome to get to do what all of us get to do. You wake up every day and you make the best of the opportunities you have in front of you. And, why can't everybody have a glass half full? And if we can create some opportunities like that, and recognize that there's going to be differences that, and we can all live in a world that's pretty dang awesome. And it can be awesome for everybody, and even if things aren't going well for you at the moment, that doesn't mean they're going to be going, poor for you the next day. You got an opportunity to go make a change and attack it and see where it goes.
I'm still blown away that I have a job where I get to talk about sports and write about sports, and I'll get on, this is a silly thing, I'll get on a plane, I'll go cover your game, I'll be at the stadium, I'll write what I think, people seem to care what I write, and they subscribe, and that's great. I'll come back and talk about it on radio. You get to go get on a plane, you get to go coach a football game. It doesn't feel like work to me. I know it's hard, but I get the impression you enjoy what you do so much that, you'd be doing it somewhere for something if it weren't at Oregon.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I love what I get to do, and there's every job has stuff that is not always the best, but coaching football is a pretty dang good job, man. So it's a lot of fun.
Where does doing an interview like this rank on not the best? Lay it on me. Like, be honest. Like, does this
No,
suck?
you're not bad, man.
Does this suck? I'm not bad. Can I put that on a billboard? Not bad. Dan Lanning said not bad.
No, I don't mind. I don't mind having this combo at all. No, it's this is good. Is this as fun as is coaching at football practice? No, that's football practice is a lot more fun. Coaching a game is a whole lot more fun. Watching film is a lot more fun. But like you're on the list. You're not at the bottom.
I'm on the list. I'm going to put that on my bio. I'm on the list. Where like you enjoy watching film, huh? Like because I've talked to some guys who go.
Yeah.
So what do you like about watching film? Let's just say you're watching. You don't have to talk about Penn State, but you're watching film of an opponent. Mm-hmm. What is it that you geek out on?
Well, just the part where you get to say at the end, like, okay, what's the best call I could possibly have against this, right? Because every defense, every offense has a strength and has a weakness, right? If you're loaded up to the box to stop the run, then there's an opportunity for a pass. If you're, if you're playing a certain coverage, like every coverage has a strength, every coverage has a weakness, or vice versa. And the opportunity to get to play, checkers or chess in that moment and say, okay, what's the best call that we can have for this, and it answers the issues that are addressed in that play. Like, that's a lot of fun.
So I'm talking to Jerry DiNardo, former head coach, him, Big Ten Network, and I asked him, I said, Oregon runs this fake punt against Oregon State. I said, they didn't need to run that play to win that game, but they ran it. And I said to DiNardo, did they run that just so they give Penn State something to think about? And he starts laughing. And he says, we used to do that. We used to put a play in, we'd run a play just so, give them a look that they have to think about. Is that what you mean while you're playing chess? I mean, are you doing stuff like that? Or do other coaches, and have you had other stops run plays just to go, hey, we're going to run something just to give next week's opponent something to think about?
Well, I think every week you're putting stuff in and trying to run stuff in a game that you're hoping sets up stuff for the future for sure.
You ran a lot of cloud coverage against Oregon State. See what I'm doing? I'm flexing there a little bit of media flex.
Mm-hmm.
Was that dictated by what Oregon State did, or is that just something in general you guys feel comfortable with your personnel playing a lot of cover too?
Yeah, a little bit of both. Like, you always want to go out there and run what you think can win and create success in a game, but it's something that we've come comfortable with.
Anything more obnoxious than a media member trying to talk football like they know what they're talking about?
It's pretty funny. It is pretty funny. So, but like sometimes it's good, sometimes it's it is what it is. But no, I don't mind.
But what I do, because all right, so when I played my high school and community college football, I was a receiver and a DB, and so I can tell when you're in cover two, or I can tell when I'm looking at the safety pre-snap. I'm looking at the safeties. What are they doing? But I can't tell what's going on at the line of scrimmage. I don't have that level but I know enough to talk to people like Nick Aliotti or Anthony Newman or whoever if I have a question. Yeah. So you start off where is your area of expertise when you're in high school and maybe even at college, at William Jewell College? And then what part of the game did you really have to learn?
Well, I've had to learn it all. What I thought I knew and what I knew is night and day. But I was always a defensive guy. I played both ways in high school and then played defense when I was in college, played outside linebacker. And then my first coaching job was actually wide receivers and DBs. So you kind of coach on both sides in special teams. So I feel like I got exposed to a lot, early. But where I learned the most is once I became a GA. And what I thought I knew, I realized I didn't know anything. And then even, probably the next most influential year in my career was going to Alabama and being a graduate assistant and learning, just both sides of the ball there, I think was really important for my career.
Because when you're a GA, are you breaking down things, breaking down film? You're working closely with, guys who have been doing it a lot longer than you at a higher level, and you're just soaking all that up?
Yeah, I was in charge of breakdowns at Alabama. So you break down the opponent, you're typing in all the information that you see and recognize. And then for me, like the other place that I really learned kind of both sides of the ball was putting myself in a situation where I'm drawing every single card for practice. So like the scout team's going to run a play, right? And you're going to draw up the play, and then you're going to say, okay, wait, how would they block this if we ran this defense? How would they block this if we ran this call? How would the wide receiver adjust this route if we were in this coverage? So it kind of gave me an opportunity to learn a little bit of both sides of the ball and ask questions. But that was kind of a job I took a lot of pride in when I was at Alabama, is I'm going to draw every single scout card and put myself in a situation where, okay, this is how I think they would block it versus an even front versus an off front. Or you know what? then you start to step and you're like, they never run this play versus an odd front. So maybe it's a check play. They only run it versus an even front. You just start to learn a little bit more football when you have to do those things.
Dan Lanning with us, Oregon football coach. When do you guys leave? When do you get on the plane, and why with the timing? I'm always curious, what you're thinking as far as how much time you want to spend on the ground there versus, get in, get out, or you're like SEAL Team 6. You want to be there as, least as possible, or how do you get acclimated, all that?
So, we played Northwestern. We played an early game. Obviously, a time zone change. It was kind of 9 a.m. our time. So we ended up leaving Thursday, right? But this week we were playing a night game there. So we'll leave tomorrow morning after we finish our meetings and our walk. We'll have a walkthrough in the morning and we'll travel over there.
Are you talking with scientists to figure that stuff out, or is that just your prior experience? You go, hey, this is about when we want to be there. We don't want to be too early and have a bunch of sitting around.
No, we visited with Bill Nye about it and kind of got his opinion. No, I mean, we talked to NFL teams, sports science. We kind of developed a plan this summer of, hey, when are these games going to be played, and what's our thought process based on when the games are played. So if it's a night game, don't feel like we necessarily have to travel 2 days in advance. If it's an earlier game, when you're traveling 3 time zones, then you can change that model. And again, we'll evaluate it after this trip and say, okay, that worked well for us, or no, we wish we would have done it different. But we've adapted from last year. We've adapted from the year before, based on how far you're traveling, when you're traveling, and why you do what you do.
No, I'll say this so you don't have to, but Michigan and Ohio State, this wouldn't happen to them. But you have 7 opponents that will have all this extra time to prepare for you. Penn State's coming off a bye. You're not. That has to stick in your craw a little bit. Can you make a little noise about that? Will the Big Ten listen?
Yeah, no comment.
Yeah, I'll say it, so you don't have to. He said no comment.
Somebody should, right? We're traveling 16,000 miles this year, and we play 7 teams that have more prep time than we do. That's unique, isn't it?
Yeah, and I keep saying,
it's almost like they didn't want us in the Big Ten or something, right?
I'm just looking at it going.
We snuck our way in, didn't we?
The uninvited guest. That's that's what that should be your motto. We're the uninvited guest. Go win the thing. All right, you got it. I'm not going to ask you about the whiteout. It's too much. Everybody's asked you. Who cares? But I will ask you this: from a communication standpoint, when you got offensive linemen, can you prepare for it, or is it just guys? It's occasionally something bad's going to happen, and it's going to be how resilient we are and how we react to situational stuff like that with noise and crowd noise and the environment.
I mean, you do as much as you possibly can, but you're not gonna recreate some of those things. But you do as much as you can, and when you get there, you hope your players say, "Oh, well, Tuesday practice was kind of hard. It was kind of like this." That's what you're hoping. You hope you get to say, "Okay, Wednesday was kind of like this when we did this period," and try to replicate it the best you can and play well enough that it ultimately doesn't become a huge factor in the game. But those are the things you can't control. The one way you can't control is with how you play.
All right, I've taken enough of your time. Go to your son's practice. Enjoy your night with your family, and I'll see you in Happy Valley.
Sounds good. Thanks, John. Have a great one.
All right, there he goes. Dan Lanning, Oregon football coach. I hope you got all the answers to all the questions that were burning questions.